Hello students, welcome you all to the next session regarding discussion of the analysis of turbo machines, a continued part. In the previous sessions, we have discussed the theory behind for the energy transfer and degree of reaction for the power absorbing machines, power generating machines. In today's session, we'll be discussing some of the summary part of the previous sessions which you have learned, especially regarding the sketches of the velocity triangles, hints to draw the velocity triangles, their conditions, and with respect to the conditions, how the velocity triangles the shape it changes and its factors also. So in today's session, we'll be learning regarding some of the hints to draw the velocity triangles, and with respect to the change in their condition, how will be the change in the velocity triangles, the change in the shape of velocity triangles. Those all things we'll be studying in today's session. So now we shall proceed to the further slides. So already, as I have said, if you have any queries, you can send me an email to the email IDs which are available on the screen. You can see these are the two email IDs. So if you have any queries, you can send me an email to these email IDs. Also, you can send me the WhatsApp message to this WhatsApp number also, students. Now, the heading is hints to draw the velocity triangles. So many times it becomes a very confusion for the students how to draw velocity triangles, then how to show the arrow mark directions and other things also. Now we'll be studying all those conditions in today's session, starting from the first point. The first point is regarding the axial machines. So always the tangential speed, it has to be calculated for the inlet velocity triangle as well as the outlet velocity triangle. But when you have the condition that axial machine, then in the axial machine, both the tangential speed at the inlet and the outlet, they are equal to one another, or you can write it as u is equal to pi dn by 60. Sometimes in your problems, it is also said by the name known as mean diameter dm. So this mean diameter dm is a thing, but it is with respect to the axial machine itself. So there also you need to calculate the axial velocity, that is the tangential speed for the axial machine, as u is equal to pi dm n by 60. So mean diameter is a thing, but it is with respect to the axial flow machine itself. So therefore, d or dm for the axial flow machine, both meaning the same itself. So always keep in mind when it is said in the problem that there is an axial flow machine, it means to say that the tangential speed at the inlet and the outlet both are equal to one another, and it is calculated using this equation, u is equal to pi dn by 60. This is the first condition. Second condition, if in the question he has said that the particular machine which you are using, it is an impulse kind of machine. If it is an impulse kind of machine, then it is having certain characteristics. It is the characteristic number one is its degree of reaction is 0. R is equal to 0. When R is equal to 0, then its relative velocity at the outlet and at the inlet both are equal to one another, which means the rotor inlet angle and the rotor exit angle both are equal to one another. That is beta 1 is equal to beta 2. So always keep in mind whenever the impulse is machine is given in the problem, it means that R value is equal to 0. The next important thing is the relative velocity at the inlet and the relative velocity at the outlet both are equal to one another. Also, the blade angle or the rotor angle, we call it as, that is beta 1 is equal to beta 2. This is the condition you need to remember. Then the third condition which you can see here on the screen is for 50% reaction machines. So 50% reaction machines are nothing but there is some reaction force present along with that impulse force. So therefore we term that R value as a 0.5. So when the R value is 0.5, then you can say that the absolute velocity at the inlet, that is V1, it is equal to the relative velocity at the outlet, that is V1 is equal to VR2. Also, the absolute velocity at the outlet is equal to the relative velocity at the inlet. So please keep in mind whenever it is said that R value is equal to 0.5, or even it is said that it is a 50% reaction machine, it is a 50% reaction machine, then these are the conditions of that particular problem. That is V1 is equal to VR2. So V1 is equal to VR2. Then the angle conditions for this particular problem, that is alpha 1 is equal to beta 2, because alpha 1 is associated with the inlet velocity, absolute inlet velocity V1, and beta 2 is associated with the relative outlet velocity VR2. Also V2 is equal to VR1, that is absolute velocity at the outlet is equal to the relative velocity at the inlet. Then their angles, corresponding angles. So V2, in the sense we are having here alpha 2 is equal to beta 1. Please do remember this thing. This is for a third condition, that is 50% reaction machines. Then if we have the radial flow machine, if in the question it says there is a radial flow machine, then it means to say that here the fluid is entering at a radius R1 and it is coming at radius R2. So when there are radial flow machines, then at that time the tangential speed for the inlet as well as the outlet both are different, which means U1 is not equal to U2. This condition you should remember when there is a name termed as radial flow machines in the question. Always keep this in mind. Only for axial flow machines, this condition is there, that is U1 is equal to U2. If there is a radial flow machine condition, then you can say that for radial flow machine always U1 is not equal to U2. Then if he says that there is an inward flow turbine, so inward flow turbine, inward means what? The fluid is moving towards the center of the rotating shaft. It is moving from outside towards the inside. And that time it says that the fluid enters from the outer radius and it is moving towards the inner radius. So please remember, inward means what? Moving inside, means from out it is moving inside. So the fluid is entering at outer radius and leaves at the inner radius as shown in figure 1. This is the figure 1. So you can see here the fluid is entering at the outer radius and it is moving towards the inner radius. So always in the inward turbines, the arrowheads which are shown along the lines velocity factors, they are shown towards the base. So if you observe here, this is the base of the unit velocity triangle. So if you see here, the arrowheads, how they are shown. They are shown towards the base at the inlet. Similarly at the outlet also, the arrows must be shown towards the base. This is the condition for inward flow turbines. If the question is asked for the outward flow turbines, see here now, outward flow turbines, which means the fluid is moving outside of the turbine, which means it is entering at the inner radius and is leaving at the outer radius. It is reverse vice versa now. At that time, if you observe here, the arrowheads, they should be shown moving outwards, which means they are shown towards this apex. So if you here at the if you observe the outward velocity triangles, you can see here now how the fluid is being shown. It is being shown, it is moving towards apex, which means moving away from the axis of the shaft. So we call this as the case of an outward flow turbine. So always keep in mind, for the outward flow turbine, the arrowheads, they are shown outwards towards the apex. Whereas for the inward flow turbine, they are shown towards the base. Now, the next condition. If the tangential components of the absolute velocities, that is the tangential components, nothing but VU1 and VR2, if they are in the opposite direction to each other, then how will be the sketch and what will be the equation? Let us see here. The equation is E is equal to U, VU1 plus VU2 by GC, because both are in opposite direction. And if you observe the sketch, it is in this particular fashion. So if you observe here in this, particularly in the sketch, you can see here VU1 direction, it is shown in this particular direction, moving towards the left hand side. Whereas if you observe here VU2, it is shown moving towards the right hand side. So if you see both the directions, how they are opposite to one another. So therefore, the equation becomes U into E is equal to U into VU1 plus VU2 by GC. Similarly, if I say that both the tangential velocities, they are moving in the same direction, the next condition, if the tangential components of the tangential velocity, the tangential components of the absolute velocities, if they are in the same direction to each other, then the equation for energy, how it becomes now? It becomes E is equal to U, VU1 minus VU2 by GC. So when it is moving in the same direction, what will be the sketch? Let us see in the figure number 4. So in the figure number 4, if you observe carefully, this is the sketch. This is the nature of the graph. So initially, just I will redraw the outer velocity triangle. How it was the outer velocity triangle? It was in this particular fashion. That is, this was my VF2. Then this was my VR2, beta 2. Then this was my absolute velocity at the exit, V2, alpha 2. Then this was the value of the tangential component of the absolute velocity at the outlet, that is VU2. This I am showing for the previous case here. Previous case when both are in the opposite direction, just I am showing you how this graph has achieved. Just I am showing you here. And this would be my tangential speed at the outlet U2. This was the nature of the graph. That is when both are shown in opposite direction. Now we say here the tangential component of the absolute velocity, that is the outlet, it is same as that of the inlet. So what it means to say here is this green colored line which you are seeing the absolute velocity at the outlet, it is being shifted to the other side. It is being shifted to the other side. So when it is being shifted to the other side, then the nature of graph, it is in this fashion. Please observe here now. This will be the nature of the graph. Then the new V2 is like this. And here this arrow mark, it see, if you see, observe here how it is now moving to the other side. So now the nature of the graph, how it is been looking here, please observe here carefully. This would be the nature of the graph, and the diagram, it is just looking like this. So when this diagram is looking like this, now this is the new velocity triangle, and this is alpha 2. From VF to V2, this will be your VU2 now. This will be your VU2. And from V2 to VR2, this is your tangential speed. This same sketch which you can see here right now. This is that particular triangle. So how happens when it turns to the other side, then you can say that both the tangential component of the tangential velocity, see, if you see here, it is in this direction for the inlet, even for the outlet also it is in the same direction. So that is the case. Here what happens, the energy equation becomes UV1 minus VU2 by GC. Then next condition, if the fluid enters axially or radially in case of axial or radial machines. So here, please do remember this in mind. Here, the condition, it may be axially or radially. So here it is entering in case of inlet velocity triangle, it is entering axially or radially in case of axial or radial machines. So what it means to say here is the inlet velocity triangle, its shape changes when the fluid is entering axially or radially. So this is my inlet velocity triangle, which you can see here in this picture. This is my inlet velocity triangle, which you can see here in this particular picture. Now he says here that the fluid is entering axially or radially. So when the fluid is entering axially or radially means whatever this alpha 1 is there, axially or radially means it becomes alpha 1 equal to 90 degrees, axially or radially. So axially or radially alpha 1 is equal to 90 degree means what? This velocity, it is overlapping on this particular velocity factor, that is Vf1. So therefore, the new shape of the velocity triangle, how it will be, this is V1 is equal to Vf1, and you will be remaining with the relative velocity, that is Vr1. Then you will be having this one. So from V1 to Vr1, we are having this factor as U1. As V1 and Vf1, they are overlapping on one another, then what happens to your Vu1? It becomes equal to 0. Please do remember this one. So axially, fluid is entering axially or radially means what? The entrance velocity alpha 1, it becomes 90 degrees. So it becomes 90 degrees means what? It is overlapping on Vf1. So if there was a change between V1 and Vf1, there are some deviation, then there would be Vu1. That is the name given, tangential component of the absolute velocity. As here there is no deviation now, V1 equal to 0. Then this becomes, when V1 equal to 0, then what happens to our energy equation? It is for the power absorbing machines. We write this as E is equal to U2 Vu2 by Gc, because already you know that V1 is equal to 0. This is the nature of the graph, as I discussed. This would be the nature of the graph. That is the inlet velocity triangle, nature of the inlet velocity triangle. This is. Similarly, the next conditions. These are the generalized velocity triangles, generalized sketch it is. The next condition is, if the fluid is leaving axially or radial, please read these words. Leaving axially or radial. Leaving means it is with respect to the outward velocity triangle. So in the outward velocity triangle, it is leaving axially or radially. So when the fluid is being discharged, discharge angle is which one? This one, beta 2. Now he says that, sorry, here also the discharge angle is alpha 2 itself. Here he says that the fluid is leaving axially or radially. So when it is leaving, when it is going out of the outward velocity triangle, that is in the form of an axially or radially, then what it means to say that here the angle alpha 2, it is now equals to 90 degrees. So now, if you observe carefully, that in the triangles, the new velocity triangle will be in this form, that is for the outlet case. Alpha 2 equal to 90 degree means V2 is equal to Vf. This V2, it is overlapping on Vf. So it is like this now, V2 is equal to Vf. You are having the discharge angle beta 2. Alpha 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Here also what happens? This is the value of U2 and your U2 equal to 0. So in the energy equation, that is E is equal to U1 Vu1 minus U2 Vu2 by Gc. And you have already said that the fluid is moving out of the triangle as axially, which means U2 is 0, means this term becomes 0, and you are remaining with U1 Vu1 by Gc itself. So therefore, as per the figure 6, this is the figure 6, this is the sketch of the figure in the outer velocity triangle, and you can see that alpha 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, what happens? Your energy equation E is equal to U into U1 Vu1 by Gc. Next condition. Now, if you observe here he has said that the fluids, the blades are radial. Please see here. There the fluid was passing axially or radially. Now here he is saying that blade. Please observe this term. He has said that blade. So blades with respect to the angles beta 1, beta 2 it is. Now here he has said blades are radial at where? At inlet, which means at the inlet velocity triangle beta 1 is equal to 90 degree. So this is my inlet velocity triangle, which you can see here right now here, and beta 1 is having some value, but now he says beta 1 equal to 90 degrees, which means this particular relative velocity, it overlaps on which one? The flow velocity. So on overlapping, how will be the nature of the sketch? Let us see here. It is in this fashion, that is VR1 is equal to VF1, beta 1 is equal to 90 degrees, you can see. So beta 1 is equal to 90 degrees means both the tangential component of the absolute velocity at inlet VU1 and the tangential speed at the inlet U1 both are equal to one another. So from this sketch, what you can judge is U1 is equal to VU1. See, please do remember the words are very important. Here what he has said, blades are radial at inlet. Beta 1 equal to 90 degree. In the previous cases, what we discussed, the fluid was entering or leaving axially or radially. So this is very, very, very important. Please do remember this in mind. Then the next condition. Now here he says, if the rotor blades are radial at outlet, so outlet velocity triangle, this is my outlet velocity triangle. He says the blades are radial at outlet. So this is my outlet velocity triangle, and in this outlet velocity triangle, he says blades are radial at outlet. So this is, so this becomes 90 degrees down. Beta 2 becomes 90 degrees in the outlet velocity triangle. So when this becomes outlet velocity triangle as 90 degrees, this VR2 what happens? It comes and overlaps on this VF2. So the new sketch, how it will be the new sketch? It will be like this somewhat. So here what happens? This VF2 is equal to VR2. This is my absolute velocity at the outlet V2. Alpha 2 is there. Then we are having as V2 to VR2 to V2 is, we are having U2. Similarly, we will have even VU2 also. It means VU2 is equal to U2 here in this case. So just see the new sketch, how it is happened to show in here. See, as I said, VR2 is equal to VF2, alpha 2, beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees. You can see here carefully, and U2 is equal to VO2. The conditions are blades, rotor blades are radial at outlet. Then next condition here, please observe here now. Combination of both here. Combination of both the cases. What is the first case? The first case, fluid is entering axially or radially at inlet. This is the first case. Fluid is entering axially or radially. So by default, what happens? This meaning of the sentence is alpha 1 is equal to 90 degrees. The sketch of the inlet velocity triangle. Then he says, the next case, what he says, the blades are radial at outlet. Blades means beta, which is outlet, that is beta 2. It is said, he said it is radial, which means beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Now here combination of both cases, at inlet velocity triangle, alpha 1 is equal to 90 degrees, beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees. So how will be the sketch, nature of the graph? See, sorry. Just I will show here. First for the inlet velocity triangle. This will be the sketch of the inlet velocity triangle now. Now this I have drawn here. So this alpha which you are seeing here, it becomes equal to 90 degrees. It becomes equal to 90 degrees. This is alpha 1. And the remaining term what you are observing is, this is VR1. Then VF1 is equal to V1. And at the bottom, what we are having? We are having the tangential speed at the inlet, that is U1. When V1 and VF1 they are overlapping on one another, then what happens to our VU1? It is equal to 0. Similarly, with this condition of beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees, how will be the sketch? So this is my outlet velocity triangle. He says beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees, which means how will be my sketch now? beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees means I will be having now here VF2 is equal to VR2 because beta 2 is associated with relative velocity to VR2. This overlaps on this particular VF2, and this is nothing but it is absolute velocity at outlet, that is V2. Now, if you observe here, VF2 and V2, it is representing even VU2 as well as U2. So both cases here now, both U2 and VU2 are equal to one another. This is angle alpha 2. These are the things you need to understand. So whatever the cases we had discussed individually in the previous slides, now he has combined here. First condition is fluid entering a radial at inlet. Second condition is blades are radial at outlet. So blades means beta 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Fluid entering radially means alpha values. Is it clear? Now let us see the nature of the graph, how it is looking in figure 9. See, as I said, fluid entering a radial at inlet, fluid leaving, sorry, the blades radial at outlet. U2 is equal to VU2. The next case. If the blades are radial at inlet, please observe the first condition what he has said. The blades are radial at inlet. Blades means beta 1. At inlet it is beta 1. Inlet radial means beta 1 is equal to 90 degrees. This is the first case. Second case, he says the fluid leaves the rotor axially or radially. It is leaving out means with respect to outward velocity triangle, which means alpha 2 is equal to 90 degrees. With respect to this, you have to combine the velocity triangles now. So first begin with the inlet velocity triangle. Beta 1 is where? This is that beta 1. This particular angle, it is equal to 90 degrees. So what will be the sketch of my velocity triangle now? Please observe here. Beta 1, this is equal to 90 degrees. I have shown here. The remaining angle is alpha 1. Now we are having this as V1. Beta 1 is nothing but VF1 equal to VR1. Then between V1 and VR1, it is nothing but it is U1. Also, this is equal to V1 and V1 and VF1. It is also equal to the tangential component of the absolute net velocity, that is VU1. So U1 and V1 are both are same. Now with respect to the outward velocity triangle, please observe here. He said the fluid is leaving radially. So this is my alpha 2. This is my alpha 2. Now this becomes equal to 90 degrees. So what it means here, the sketch for the outward velocity triangle, second condition, alpha 2. Alpha 2 is equal to 90 degrees. So alpha 2 equal to 90 degrees I have scribed. Then the other value is beta 2. This is VR2. Then here I have alpha 2 is equal to 20 degrees means V2 is equal to VF2. If V2 is equal to VF2, then what happens? VU2 is equal to 0. And this is nothing but the tangential speed at the outer velocity triangle. See, combination of both. Combination of both. Now let us see. See, this is a sketch as I should told you. This is a thing. If the blades are radial at inlet or radial at outlet, sorry, if the blades are radial at inlet and the fluid leaves rotor axially. So, as I said, these are the very, very important conditions when you are solving the problem. So, blades are radial at inlet means beta 1 is equal to 90 degrees for the inlet velocity triangle. The shape changes to this fashion. Similarly, the next condition he says fluid is leaving out of the velocity triangle as radial axially, that is second condition, beta 2 is, sorry, alpha 2 is equal to 90 degrees. You have to change the shape. So also the factors and get the answers. So these are some of the hints you need to remember when you are drawing the velocity triangles. Okay. So In the next session, students, we will be discussing some of the problems on using the velocity triangles and getting the solutions for the given things which are asked in the problems. Thank you, students.